Hi guys, so I'm going to do tonight's reading. The last couple days has been very hard with the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Um, Apparently that must have been the mystery woman. Um, I do see also, the situation going on in Georgia with the ICE detention center, with the women with the mass hysterectomies. I actually, when I kind of meditate on it, it's all connected. I kind of look at this that women need to understand, especially right now with her passing, that our freedoms, that we have had, and especially many of them because of this woman, they are being threatened, and we need to brace ourselves for that and get ready. This is what I want to focus on today's reading. I want to kind of connect to the divine feminine. I don't want to get too terribly political, but I kind of want to just, kind of read a little bit things to come for women, things we need to prepare for a little bit, maybe what we can do. And I want you to kind of think of, like some of the things that she did. For example, you being able to have that credit card, that's because of her. You being able to go into a job and they can't ask if you're married or single or if you have kids or you plan on having more kids, um, or going in and say you need a job but you're pregnant, or even young girls participating in sports and various things like that. All of this is because of that one woman. I want you to think of that. Other women of course rally behind her, but she really made certain decisions. But even just her going to the Supreme Court with cases, to really help women, she fought the good fight. We have a lot to thank her for. And I know there's a lot with the pro-choice. I don't want to get into that too much on video. That could start a big thing. She is also behind that as well. But tonight I just, to kind of honor her, I guess, in a way, part of the reason I want to kind of do more of a divine feminine read, I'm going to use the Sacred Circle, which has more of a pagan type of flavor. Some of the roots of the goddess, you could say, a little bit of emphasis in that in here. And so that's what I'm going to focus on tonight, and just kind of what is the message of spirit, especially for the women, what pertaining to the divine feminine, what do they want us to know? Let's begin. My cats may fight in a minute here. Okay. Oh, fingers, man. Oops, that's kind of a random card there. I have a hard time shuffling this. It's so big. But it's a beautiful deck. It's a beautiful deck. But yes, she fought the good fight. She stayed as long as she could. She tried. She really tried. And all things happen for a reason. She passed on Rosh Hashanah, Jewish holiday. Very, symbolic that would happen. Really, it's almost not surprising, especially us spiritualists who know that dates and times are so significant. They really are. The signs, we pay attention to them. Oh, this one's turned around. That's weird. Okay. So I want you to kind of look here. This is 8, which is strength, but in this deck is the warrior. Okay? It's the warrior card. As you can see, it is a feminine. It is in a reverse position. So when I kind of look at this, especially being in a reverse position, I feel many of us spiritual warriors, us women, we kind of feel like this is a loss. We feel kicked down. And it's like, what do we do now? And I believe the reversal is, it's like, I really don't want to get out there and fight. I don't want to go through this again. I feel a lot of reluctance, like, had we not already done this, do I really have to go to battle once again? But we've got the warrior, okay? So we do need to brace ourselves for that. A warrior, one of the things about them is not to be caught off guard. Is that correct? We can't be caught off guard. We have to kind of look at certain things that are happening right now, especially if somebody is put on the Supreme Court. I have not read on that yet, but I kind of know how it's going to go. Even though Obama, they blocked him from being able to do it when he had 10 months to go. You know how they're going to play dirty, okay? They don't fight fair. So we can look at they're going to try. But we need to kind of brace ourselves for that, definitely as women. Now I've got the Six of Discs in the reverse position, and this is the Bounty card is in a reverse position, especially about the giving and the receiving and so forth. And one of the things, Six of Pentacles, often I could see as, what is fair, in the giving and in the receiving, what is fair. So we can kind of prepare ourselves that things are not going to be fair for a while. It's like we demand fairness and so forth, but we kind of need to, brace ourselves and so forth, that things are not always going to work out the way we want. So we need to really do something about that. At the foundation, interesting, is the Green Man. So obviously in paganism, many kind of know him and everything, and so I feel like when I kind of look at this with the Green Man, we don't want to go in opposition with people. This was kind of one of the issues, back in the day. It's like we're not trying to go in opposition with men. We don't want to go there. We don't want to get into that kind of battle. When I kind of see this, we kind of want to work with, but are we going to have to go through some kind of battle and so forth? And I do have in the past position the Ace of Discs in the reverse position. Now, as I kind of see this, it's about seeds well planted, and being able to grow in abundance. And this is the abundance card and so forth, and women, one of the things, things still were not 100% equal in the workplace. We still get paid less than men and so forth. We were still working towards trying to get past glass ceilings and so forth. So we were still trying to grow, but we already were being held back. But how far back will we go? I've got the Five of Wands, which in this deck is grounding. Five of Wands can be a battle card. So I look at this, but this is past position, past conflict that we went through and so forth. But it is in a reverse position, which says, yes, there were still battles, but it's like it was getting more accepted, like women in the workforce, women in the military. It was getting there, but it wasn't perfect. Vanessa Guillen, for example, things happening to her at Fort Hood, it's like, part of the reason, is somebody didn't accept women in the military. There was something going on. I've got the King of Discs in the reverse position. This kind of also, we've got once more the men. Notice, we've got all these pentacle cards, the disc cards showing, and they're trying, you could say they're kind of trying to control the pentacles, how wealth is distributed, how jobs are distributed. But I want you to kind of notice these are pentacles. Also, how bodies are just, who has the right to their own body even, as these are pentacles. These are very natural. They are very physical as well in that, that we need to brace ourselves, that we are going to go through that. At the same time, I just drew the creativity card, the Ace of Wands. Now, I kind of look at this at the same time This card is about opportunity. As I am focusing on the women, I'm like, this is actually a moment that we kind of got to look at the spirit. What would Ruth do in a situation, like this, if we were, like justices going in the Supreme Court and changing laws, that had given women rights and so forth? What would she do? She wouldn't, lay down and give up the fight. She would find the opportunities to be able to make changes and do something better. She wouldn't be kicked down, and she wouldn't give up on that. So I have a feeling, some other cases are going to go through, the Supreme Court and so forth. It's very interesting read. I've also got the Knight of Discs in the reverse position. And notice I'm getting a lot of the reversals with the Pentacles and so forth, and I'm getting a lot of masculine. So I definitely do feel like this encroaching and so forth, and the women need to prepare for that. I do have the Tower in the reverse position. The Tower is chaos. We have definitely been dealing with a lot of that, with 2020. This is another chaotic moment, but it is in the reverse position, so we can survive this. I would find it hard to believe, but I know there is still a risk. But I would find it hard to believe, like, women losing all their rights. Like, some women right now are on Facebook, like, oh God, the Handmaid's Tale, could be our reality. You know, the odds of that are so incredibly slim. I don't think women would take that. I do have the Nine of Wands, and this card says recovery. It is also one of the things about Nine of Wands is it is also a defense. So we need to prepare to defend those rights. Yeah, we're going to have to do that ultimately. The outcome, and we've talked about her, you guys saw me talk about the Queen of Cups, and the outcome is the Queen of Cups in the reverse position. Okay, not a surprise that was her card for Ruth. We're going to deal with a lot. We're dealing with a lot of masculine energy that is kind of encroaching on some things here. I just threw the Five of Swords in this deck. It's called defeat. So, this is kind of concerning as far as, I'm trying not to read on, I'm not sure, as far as the Supreme Court, I almost don't want to know. But, obviously, this is such a great loss that us women do feel like it's a defeat. But I've got two battle cards in here, the Five of Wands and the Five of Swords. So yes, it does look like, especially with all this masculine energy and everything, that, we're going to have to fight for some things again. And I will tell you, and I just drew the moon, the goddess, the feminine, she's going to be with us. Okay. I wrote a post a little bit, and I was talking about the divine feminine, how, with the, in other cultures, like say in India, the goddess has always been there. But, here, like with, in places with the patriarchal religions, the goddess is pretty much unheard of. Everyone's used to the masculine god. And even when you look at Christianity, when you look at the feminine, there is the Mother Mary, but even Mary Magdalene, who they looked at further, only recent, they finally did away with her being a prostitute, but she was labeled a prostitute for nearly 2,000 years. The kind of the way, women have been told to be. And during like the feminist movement and so forth, the 60s, and everybody's going for civil rights and various things like that, there was like an awakening of the divine feminine. People started kind of going back and looking at those goddess religions, the paganism, and then Wicca was born. Wicca is actually new. It is based off old traditions, but it is actually a new movement. And so people started finding the goddess again, and now, especially if you're on this kind of spiritual path, if you're flipping tarot and using crystals and this and that, the divine feminine is embraced. But I do even notice still, you know, it's kind of like, is God male or female or this, that? Most of us will usually say no gender, but there are those of us who also say there is a divine feminine, there is a divine masculine, within the spirit, and that needs to be embraced. And, women were finding, their own divine within, that they're not inferior, that they have their own true power. Being introduced to the goddess really awakened this in many women, that they were able to embrace that and kind of find their home. So I kind of look at everything, and I would like to draw one more card to kind of symbolize. And I just drew the Two of Wands, which in this one is courage. We need to be courageous during this time. It's a lot of earth and a lot of fire. And my only one cup card is ending with the Queen of Cups for the Spirit of Ruth. But we need to be courageous during this time. If our rights are going to be threatened, well, then I guess we're going to have to do what our grandmothers did and our mothers did. We're going to have to get out there and do something about it. But it's different now, because see, many of us women here, I'm in my 50s, we had a lot of these rights. Well, there were still even things changing after I was born, but we kind of grew up used to having them. So you're going to take away from women that are used to having certain rights. Okay, this is a different ball game. See, this is different, but there's also going to be women that are, even older than I, who, were out there in the 60s and so forth when all this was going on. And they're gonna remind us that yes, there's always a risk, and you need to do something about it. So it's definitely something we need to look at here. But yes, Queen of Cups, there she is again. This has been the card. When I drew in the outcome, I hate to see the reversal, and I feel the reversal, is more like, I kind of feel like if she could have stayed here longer, she would. She fought to stay as long, as she could. But I can see her. It's almost like, I know she's looking down, going, "Oh, ladies, get ready to fight. Get ready to get that fire going." It's almost like I can see her doing that, and we need to be prepared for that. So, there's gonna be changes, and there are some changes we don't want to have happen. We need to understand that as women. Well, a lot of us has grown into the divine feminine, and we've been used to having certain things for so long. So we got to realize that, just imagine even your own spirituality, that you couldn't worship, all of you ladies with the altars and the crystals and the statues, or your various own spiritualities that you may believe in, and everything, and being able to express that, or read your tarot or whatever you may do. If that was taken away from you, how would you feel that you were told you can't do that? That you couldn't express that yourself that way. You couldn't worship that way. I want you to think on that. And, yeah, I guess we just got to be prepared. We got to be prepared to kind of fight for what's right.